Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Ethereum before we jump into the price action. Just like I said, thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find links to Discord, come check it out. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff now. So basically what we're talking about here is that possibility that, we could have actually formed this B wave into this low here, and we could be looking for potentially this C wave here towards this 2214. Obviously, there is always the potential that this could be a bigger trending move here, where we could actually look to move up towards this zone of this 2971, though this would be completely reliant on holding this low point here that we currently have at this 1368. So this is possible still, and we're looking for that possibility of actually moving up here, whether we only manage to form a three-wave structure here or whether we actually form a bigger five-wave move. Potentially we need to be careful that we could still look to continue to the downside if we only form a three-wave structure to the upside. So we're going to talk about a couple of options within here. There's two ways that I'm currently looking at this structure. Potentially we could also have this as a fourth wave, and then this makes the fifth wave completed. And then we could actually see a three-wave move potentially back down into these zones of this 1368 to this 1192. Obviously, depends how high we go here. If we do carry on pushing up higher here, potentially it would change the support zone slightly. But the idea would be that I'd be looking for, if we do have this rather as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, what we'd be looking for then is that possibility of forming a three-wave move and finding support. But if we do have this as a bigger five-wave move, we also do need to just be cautious because we could actually then look to potentially break down from there. So we'll have to monitor this. It'll be the same story as before. This lower support zone is going to be a key area. If we do manage to hold it, then we can potentially look for that continuation. Okay, so let's get into this current move we have to the upside. So like I said before, potentially we're looking at this as a five-wave structure here, and what we're looking for within this is looking at this. I'm going to come into the hourly here. So there's two ways that I'm looking at this move. So if we're talking about this potentially being a fifth, it's actually come up towards sorry, that's the wrong flip, never mind. Basically what I'm looking for is if we do have a structure here, so I'm going to just turn it on actually. Let's turn this alternative comment on. What I'm looking for here is the possibility that within this we still have a fifth wave to come. So that fifth wave target actually between this 1781 to this 1895 area. So that would be a 618 and this would be that 0.382. So if we have a shorter fifth wave here, potentially this 382 zone might be a target area. The overall target would be this 1912 to this 1829. So if we do look to actually push up higher here, potentially we could look to come up into this channel and potentially test this zone where we could actually look to move up in towards this 1895 potentially at that 0.618 of that wave 1 to 3. We don't have confirmation yet, and the structure here is a little bit tricky. So what I would want to see here, when I was marking this up, I didn't previously have this moving up here. So I'd want to see ideally a cross above this zone here of the 618. It's 1618 area. And basically from there, what we'd be looking for would be to see whether we get additional support of this fourth wave areas here. If we manage to hold this 1701 zone, potentially we could look to extend out here where this whole move here becomes a 1, 2. This becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 into this high. And then basically what we'd be looking for would be this evidence of this additional fourth wave. If we do get this move play out into this zone and holds this 1701 area, what we'd be looking for is potentially a three-wave move down into this zone. And what we'd be looking for is maintaining this 701 and not crossing this area of this 1691. If we cross this 1691, it would invalidate this potential, and we would have to look at this move slightly different. So I'm going to go over that as well. So what I'm looking for here on the short term is basically within this, I want to see a three-wave move down and then followed by another five-wave move to the upside. If this does play out, then effectively what we could do is actually see an additional fourth wave here. And what we could have within this is basically that this was a 1, 2, This was a 1, 2, and then basically becomes a third wave here. We get a fourth, and then we push up one more time and actually look to take this high point. Looking to take this high point, obviously this 0.382 zone will be an interesting area, the 1781. And then if it does look to extend out further, you know, basically this 1808 to this 1783 is the typical fifth wave area based off of a retracement to this 382. So this can change as the move develops. So if it does actually look to push up higher, then yeah, potentially we should be looking towards this 1895 and somewhere in the zone of this 1712, sorry, 1912 to this 1829 zone. This could be a potential zone we look to complete if this is a fifth wave still looking to push up here. So an interesting area would be this 1843, just based off of um, this top trend line here. We've only got 2 touch points, but potentially that could be an area we look to stop in. Obviously, we do have the other way of looking at this in this channel. Potentially that would be up here towards this zone of this 1859, 1860 would be within that typical area. So keep an eye on this. Potentially we could see this move up into here and then face a rejection. So the thing is, if we do get a move like this play out, we've got two options really. This could either be a fifth wave, and basically, we complete into this high. Let me actually turn off the primary count here. So either we complete this fifth wave into this, and then we're going to look for a bigger three-wave retracement off the back of this. Like I said, potentially looking to come back and retest either this channel line here, or potentially even lower down towards this support range that we have on the other count here. I can actually just pull another one off here. So if we do actually move up to that zone, what I'd be looking for would basically be to see whether I'm going to say that 1860 looks interesting. Um, this zone of this 1414 to this 1208 region. So, this would be a zone we'd be looking to potentially come back into if we do, if this is a fifth wave and we're looking to actually complete this as a 5-wave sequence from here. If we fail to hold this 1208 at that point, then basically we'd be looking at that potential that we could still have another leg to the downside here, and that could push us down for this C wave or potentially a wave 5, depending on how we want to look at this move, which could bring us down towards a 723 to this 523 range if this breaks support at this lower range here and manages to break down past this 1075 zone. So that's what we're looking for within this. So there's another way of looking at this potentially, and what I was looking for is if we are looking at this basically rather as this is that B wave completed, what we could then see is the possibility that within this structure we could either see a 5-wave structure play out to the upside, but we'd only get a confirmation um, by coming towards this 2354. Uh, and if we do set this additional fifth wave here, potentially then we'd be looking for that retracement for that wave 2, and we'd look to actually find support above this between this 560 and this 1447. So really what we need to be taking away from this is as long as we hold above this 1368 and we remain above it, within this support zone, even if we do come back test it, this 1447, as long as that holds, we do have potential to play to the upside here, whether that is as a bigger 5-wave structure or potentially just as a 3-wave structure. We could see a move play out like this, where this becomes an a B, and a C. And now that would be an interesting thing because it wouldn't really fit into the 5-wave structure idea, but we were talking about that possibility that within this move, we could look at this potentially doing something like this as a corrective structure up into the zone towards us. Depends how high we come here. If we do break down here, potentially this B wave could be in the lower range here. But we'd be looking for that potential, to move up again in a 3-wave structure. So that would also tie in to the idea that, maybe we are not completed this correction down. So we're gonna have to see, as long as we hold those key zones, potentially we can look to extend up. But if we only get a 3-wave move here, basically what I'd be looking out for is that possibility that, we could see a 5 wave move decline to the downside. So we're going to have to monitor this. This hasn't confirmed all the structure within that 5 wave move. We need to hold that key level of support for that fourth wave. If this breaks down and we lose this low of the 1611, the next zone I'd be looking for support to come in would be this 1560 to this 1447 range. And basically I'd be looking at that then potential we could have had just a B wave up here, and then we look to break down. So it's going to be crucial that we hit that we hold those impulsive support zones if we are looking at potentially looking to break up higher here. Otherwise, I would be anticipating that possibility of getting another move down here, potentially into this range. If we lose this 1447, then it becomes less likely we're going to see this continuation up, and we would have to be potentially careful that within here, this isn't actually a 5 wave move and just a B wave, and then we actually look to break down for this C wave to the downside and potentially come back into that zone of that 1414 to that 1208. So these are all possibilities. We could see this play out where we have this move playing out like this, and then we actually get one more drop. But yeah, for as long as we hold those support zones, there is still that potential to the upside. So the alternative here, is that we're looking for this bigger impulse. But we need to get confirmation of this support zone. Either we are still within this wave one, and we're going to potentially look to push up towards this zone of this 1916 to this 1831, or alternatively, potentially we form a structure here like a flat correction and then look to break down. If we are looking at that possibly as a flat, the typical rejection area would actually be, shit, that's the wrong one. 1 second. Would be between the 1780 and this 1849. So if we fail to form those additional fourths and fifths within the structure, and we just look at this rather as an A, B, and potentially a C, potentially we could then look to move up into the zone. We could even take this high and then break down in a 5 wave move. And then what will be key is what happens after this. If this does develop as a flat, and we do move up here, it doesn't have to. I mean, come past, if we come past sort of the 854 area, basically, that's sufficient for a flat. We're already past that 786, so I mean, a little bit more of a push up here. We could see this being just an A, a B, and then we actually break down for that C. And that 1-to-1 would actually be more towards this zone here. I need to adjust this slightly. So that 1-to-1 would actually bring us back into the zone of this previous fourth wave at this 1583 area. Would also be a retest of this zone here. And I think it probably also ties in with this point of control from this range that we've had here towards this 1568. So keep an eye on that. Potentially we could see a move down here towards this area. If we do look to break down from this zone and we fail to develop that impulsive structure up, then this would be my next sort of area that I'm looking for as to see if support comes in. This 1583, and then lower down here this 1568, and then if we lose that, basically between this 1560 and this 1447. If we start to lose, like I said, this 1447, it becomes less likely that we're going to see continuation here. So, there is that bullish potential here. We can still look for this possibility to rally here, even if it is just in another wave where this becomes an A, B, and a C to the upside. But yeah, it's crucial on holding this 1447. If we start to lose this zone, that falls apart, and invalidation comes by crossing this 1368. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that 5 wave move one more time. Just up here. This is the alternative that I'm looking at here. Potentially that we've got these series of ones and twos that could still play out here. This would be what would happen if it does extend out higher here. Is we could also look at this potentially as having 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then look to push up. So this will maintain the 1652. If we do get something like this, what we're getting is potentially a bigger move here. But for the time being, I'm just following the simpler move, because really once we start to break above this 1750 zone, then it would probably just be easier to, or neater to count it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as long as it holds that. But if we do break down a little bit deeper here, as long as we hold 1691 to the 1669 zone, potentially we could find support again here and then look to rally up higher. And then basically looking for this, if we did get a move up towards this 1803, that would then confirm that we could have a bigger structure here where we're actually forming this as basically this would be a diagonal as a 1, 2. This would be another 1 and a 2, and then actually looking to progress here. We'd want this to be quite a strong move here within this. If this does play out, this wave 3 would have to be quite strong. But for the most part, I am still looking to see whether this simple version of this count is going to play out, where we actually just look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking for this fourth wave to find support here and then push up. Losing this 1701 area, basically, then we need to be careful, because then this count starts to fall apart, and we need to just be cautious that we don't see this play out as a bigger a B, and a C to the downside, and then look to actually come back deeper into that support zone of this 1560 to this 1427. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, there's affiliate links for BYBIT and PrimeXBT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out for yourselves. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care out.